Good morning, girls. I'd like to welcome you all back to 2016 and Term 1. So before we begin, I'd just like to acknowledge the owners. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and that care for it for thousands of years. Open to the spirit who has ever been present here, we resolve to appreciate its beauty, to be wise stewards of its resources, and to honour the connection the traditional custodians, the Kumbameri from the Yugambeh Nation, have with this land. Would you please stand for the school prayer? Almighty God, from whom comes every good and perfect gift, send down your blessing, we pray, upon this school. Teach us to live together in love and joy and peace. In our work, give us a spirit of understanding and perseverance. In our games, true sportsmanship. And in our prayers, how to draw near to you. Let the spirit of courage and laws unite us all more closely together, so that we may live not only for our own advantage, but also for the common good. Through him who loved us and gave himself for us, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thanks everyone, grab a seat. Look, a very special welcome back to absolutely everyone, those who have been here for many years and those who are absolutely new. It's lovely to see everyone back today, and I hope that after a satisfying holiday everyone's keen to be back and keen to be on with the new school year and all that it holds, which will be plenty. This year we have the usual couple of new staff members, and I'll introduce those staff members to you, but also to let you know that Dr. Slarchak is back from long service leave. Also Bev George is back from long service leave, as is Janelle Mao. So that, but joining the school this year, we have a new head of boarding, Annette Boyle, and Annette, do you want to stand? Annette comes to us after being head of a number of boarding schools around the country, Ballarat and Clarendon College in Victoria, Loreto College at Normanhurst in Sydney, and also boarding coordinator and year level coordinator and director of service learning at Abbotsford in Sydney, dean of middle years at Canterbury, and also for the last 10 years she's been at AB with head of human resources and then director of community engagement and staff wellness. Wow. That's an amazing set of titles and background experience. Very sincere welcome to you, Annette. We also are joined by Gillian Moore. Gillian is joining us after having career teaching in Victoria at the St Anthony's Coptic Orthodox College. Before moving to Queensland, she was head of campus at YMCA Vocational School Kingston and has a very strong background in sport and obviously pastoral care with students, and joins us as our new head of sport. So get to know her very quickly. Rachel Horner. Rachel joins us from England originally, but stay standing, I want to see who you are. That's it. And, but more recently, she was teaching at the Shaw School in Sydney and also Knox Grammar School in Sydney. And she'll be teaching in mathematics, but you know, obviously she comes with a very interesting background with an honours degree in English literature. So I think that's pretty interesting. So, Tristan Young. Tristan Young comes with a background teaching at Nerang High School and also at most recently at Trinity Lutheran College. And so, sincere welcome, and Tristan also joins the mathematics department. Veronique Garnet, is Veronique here? No. Mrs. Smith joins the learning support area, so it's lovely to have you with us, and a sincere welcome. Lucy Hunt joins us, actually she's been here, as many of you will recognise, has been is going to be head of that area this year. She's co-sharing that job with Mrs. Kerwin, and at the end of this year, Mrs. Kerwin's intention is to retire, so the intention obviously is to have some transition going on. So that's a wonderful thing. I feel I've missed someone. Mr. Boyle is pointing. Yes, I'm told I missed Mrs. Jobson, who's the head of Year 7. over there. So stand up, go on, get on with it. Excellent. That's wonderful. So, and obviously still teaching in the same areas as she was last year. So, obviously with a few changes here and there. Around the school, not a lot of physical changes to the fabric of the school. You'll see if you're very observant and you take in the changes to fence lines around places, you will see a new fence along Whitby Street, where we took down the old one that looked like the chicken wire around something, and we took it down and put a nice new black one up. And from this part of the campus, in other words, the end of the NPC, up to where our maintenance person lives, Tom lives, there'll be a white picket fence will go in, the same as the white picket fence around the front of the school. So, but that'll go in as soon as it's made, and we have absolutely no idea when it's going to be made. So that will happen when it happens. So with that incredible precision, we can all wait with the expectation of change. You'll also notice a little bit of painting has taken place. The boarders will have seen some in Whitby House, some new painting, and all of you will, I'm sure, have noticed if you've gone into the James building has been repainted inside. And I guess there's going to be an occasional test to try and work out what was the old colour, because most of you will say, I think it looks different, but what is different? Just remember the answer is yellow. That was the old colour. Now, what we're going to do is to, before I move on with the assembly and other things that I want to do in this half hour, I want to invite the girls from World Challenge to... before World Challenge, we're going to hear a message from the Archbishop. So, and it's lovely. You might remember last year, for the first time ever, he sent a message. Oh, keep rolling, keep rolling.
Welcome to the start of the 2016 school year. I hope you've come back from holidays refreshed and ready for all that this new year will bring. If you are new to an Anglican school this year, welcome. In the 21st century, schools are very important centres in our communities. They have a vital role in serving the wider community and in building an inclusive and just and peaceful society. In Australia, we're extremely fortunate to live far away from war zones, and usually we have little civil strife. But it takes energy and effort to maintain this. We don't need to look very far afield to see division and the seeds of it. Tensions can easily arise around race or religion or fear of those who are different. Overseas conflicts constantly remind us of the need to make peace and to find reconciliation. It means reaching out to those who are different or with whom we disagree. This year I want to invite your whole school community to build better communities by being peacemakers and reconcilers. As you do, remember Jesus is called the Prince of Peace. Of course, people other than Christians also embrace the call to peace and reconciliation, but Anglican schools can play a unique role in making peace in our communities and finding reconciliation. I look forward to hearing of your creative efforts over the next 10 months. Every blessing in 2016 to you and to your school community.
I must say, I think it's a lovely new tradition of the Archbishop to do that welcome speech back at the start of the year, and I hope it continues for many years to come. I think his message about peace is a fantastic one, and is one that we'll certainly follow up over the course of the year. And I think in the context of the New Australian of the Year this year, after the very successful Rosie Batty period, I think that there are agendas here that we're all called on to do something about. You might know that General Morrison, the New Australian of the Year, one of his key claims to fame is his standing up for to stop the sexual harassment in the armed forces. A fantastic speech on YouTube. If you've never watched it and you have 5 minutes to spare at some stage, Google it up and have a look at it. It's a very impassioned plea, and it's one that really everyone should look at as we start this next year with him as our Australian of the Year. We're going to move now to the World Challenge. Girls are going to talk to us, and who's been selected to do that? I won't spoil the fun. Oh, good heavens, Julia. Excellent. I'll pass over to the girls.
Okay. Good morning, girls. In late November, early December last year, myself, along with 11 other girls, Miss Bentley, Miss Wood, and our expedition leader, Pete, went to Costa Rica and Nicaragua for a month on a World Challenge expedition. During our time on World Challenge, we had 3 main phases, which included trekking, project, and relaxation.
During our trekking phase on World Challenge, we climbed 4 volcanoes in 4 days. Originally it was meant to be 5 volcanoes, but the 5th one erupted a few days prior to our trek. On day 1 we hiked to the top of Santa Clara, which was a bit challenging but it was really enjoyable. Day 2 we hiked to the top of a volcano called Roda, and at the top we were able to stop off at a coffee farm and have a fresh cup of coffee. That night we camped at a local school, and the word had gotten out that Juliet was a national dancer in Australia. So that gave us the opportunity to have a dance-off with some local kids. Day 3 we hiked to the top of Cerro Negro, which is the youngest volcano in Central America. We got to go volcano boarding down the volcano, which was a lot of fun. On day 4 we woke up at 3 a.m. and hiked for about 2 hours to the top of El Hoyo, just in time to see the sunrise. It was freezing at the top of the volcano, but the view was amazing, so it was definitely a great way to finish off our main trek.
The project phase of our trip was one that all the group looked forward to. It was located in a small village called Tinamu, nestled on one of Costa Rica's many volcanoes. During the 5 nights and 4 days we spent with the people of this village, the whole group learned a lot from our experiences, both good and bad. It was really a roller coaster ride. We got to meet some amazing people from the village, and in particular a wonderful lady who told us many stories, and we had great fun playing with the children of the village and handing out toys we had brought along with us, despite the language barrier. Not only this, we got to work doing some manual labour, including grouting tiles, moving sand and painting the local church building while eating oranges the local priest picked from his tree and served us. However, the language barrier did come back to haunt us, as we ended our stay there with a food bill much larger than expected, and having not done too much as helped as we would have liked, as we couldn't get across our concerns to them and vice versa. Despite all this, we all look back on this part of our trip with great memories and a whole lot of laughs, especially as we got to celebrate Jules' birthday with some of the villagers and managed to overcome all of our stressful times as a team and grew stronger because of them.
Last of all, some of the most memorable parts of our expedition was getting to relax. We experienced some amazing things together, like boarding down a volcano, visiting beautiful waterfalls, or even taking a sailboat out for a day. Not only that, we visited cathedrals, went to beaches where the water was as warm as the air, ate and danced with locals, and soaked in the culture when exploring the different towns. Yes, World Challenge could be hard and test your patience. But ultimately, all of us have walked away with some of the most unforgettable memories that we all share together. Thank you.
Castle in the sand, and when it comes down, it comes tumbling to the ground. But when she speaks, it's a dangerous fantasy. Sets me free to where I wanna be. She sets me free to where I wanna be. She sets me free where I wanna be. And her hair goes like a lighter in the wind, and I lose my senses, baby. It gets under my skin when she speaks. She's all I ever need. She sets me free. love, like a castle in the sun. And when it comes down, it comes tumbling to the ground. When she speaks, it's a dangerous fantasy, sets me free, where I wanna be. She sets me free, where I wanna be. She sets me free, where I wanna be. She sets me free, where I wanna be.
We're back at school, and the essence of being back is that it's a year for you to achieve something academically and socially and in your personal development. Perhaps that's in your sport, your music, your debating, but it's here for you with a range of opportunities to take advantage of and make the most of. Over the years, I've started this first assembly in a range of ways, often with the tradition of saying, we're here to learn, so right here and now, we're going to do something where we can learn something. Now, last year, I think we had a t-shirt folding competition, you might remember, and I think the girls are amazingly good at it. This year, I've called on some volunteers. If those volunteers want to come out, I haven't told the girls what they're going to do yet, so it's interesting. And I have one guest who's going to come out, has no idea what's going on, and that's Mrs. Rigby. Where's Mrs. Oh, there she is. Oh, good. Now, we have a slight problem here because I didn't realise we had carpet on the stage, but this will present a problem for them. But anyway, I'm sure they'll get over it somehow. Right, so if you girls turn around, and Mrs. Rigby, turn around, you're going to see a clip, and you have to learn how to do what they're doing up there in the clip.
How to moonwalk. Hello and welcome to Video Job. Everyone thinks they can do the moonwalk, but very few can. With help from our resident dance guru, Anthony King, you'll be one of the select few who can truly pay homage to this historic move. Get out your white socks and pull on your gloves. Ladies and gentlemen, the moonwalk. Step 1, you will need a smooth surface, soft dance shoes or trainers, and comfortable clothes. Step 2, starting position. Start with your back straight and your feet together pointing forward. Step 3, the L position. Next, lift your right leg and place the toes of your right foot down on the floor, approximately a foot behind your left leg. Step 4, balance. If you feel off balance, you can increase the width between your legs to create a wider centre of gravity. Step 5, the slide. Lean back onto your rear leg and slide the left heel back and into the floor so it finishes behind the right leg. At the end of the movement, snap the heel of your left foot up off the floor. Top tip, the toes of both feet should never come off the floor, even when your heels do. Step 6, the snap. As you snap your left heel up off the floor, your right heel should simultaneously snap down onto the floor. Step 7, copy. From the finishing position of the last move, duplicate the slide on the other foot. Step 8, the head. To help create the illusion of the move, add a head movement. As you slide your leg back slowly, move your head forward as if it's being left behind the movement, and then pull it back towards the body as you switch to the other foot. Step 9, the arms. To make the step look even better, swing your arms as if you're walking forward normally, while keeping them in time with your leg's movement. As your left leg slides back, your right arm should swing forward. Now all you need is some practice. Don't worry if you don't get it straight away. Before long, you'll be ironing out the creases in every dance floor that you grace.
Do we need a moment of practice? Have we got someone prepared to go at the front there, just along that strip down there? Yeah, the smooth section in front of the carpet. Oh, very good. time on the dance floor, obviously, in front of us. Look, give them a round of applause. It's great we're back at school, we're here to learn, and we're all going to have a go at it, no matter what the challenge is. So enjoy the time ahead. Take the opportunity to do things that you've never done before. That might be enroll in some rowing, it might be to go and do some debating, it might be to do some personal challenge, whether maybe you want to learn to play the guitar. But I'm sure all of you can identify something that you regard as a challenge that you want to do. Just get into it. I have to say, when I saw that clip, I don't know how anyone follows those 8 steps or whatever it was. It seemed to me remarkably too complex. But nonetheless, are you hearing a loud noise down there? It's out there, is it? Oh, okay. Okay, so one of the other traditions we have in the school at the start of the year is that we ring one of the bells here. This is the bell, the chapel bell. We bring the chapel bell over at the start of term, and we bring, the senior school bell over at the start of term, and the chapel bell over at the end of term, just to signify at the beginning of term, it's time to learn. So, where's Courtney? Why don't you come? For those new to the school, Courtney's head girl. Courtney's going to give the bell a nice big ring to signify, let the learning begin.